let's go in and I'm just going to start laying some of this in. Oh my gosh, isn't that fun?
You guys, are you dying? Can you see this on a piece of furniture right now? I'm getting excited.
Isn't it fun?
Yes.
Sally, you mentioned earlier, this
Yes.
looks like snake skin,
It is.
doesn't it?
The different patterns that emerge as you're mixing the different colors and with your different movement of your hand. You guys are going to have a lot of fun with this.
Yes.
I was not kidding when I said that.
Now notice that I am keeping my strokes horizontal and vertical. Horizontal and vertical to the planes of this surface.
And why is that? Why wouldn't you want to say go, what am I thinking?
Diagonal.
Right. Or swirls or...
You know what? You can do different directions to get different looks.
Okay.
For this, I tend to really be drawn to that kind of contemporary, abstract look. And I find that with the horizontal and vertical stroke directions, you really get that.
Yeah.
But
I
cross
noticed
hatching,
the finish board that we through going through this had some really kind of an industrial feel. Is that kind of how we got that?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Industrial, that's a great word because it does. Now, when you're working with just a little bit of paint on your palette, again, you've got a lot of surface area, so you're going to have a lot of dissipation happening. One way that you can compensate for that is just a little bit of spritz of a water bottle keeping nearby to keep things from getting chunky. And every once in a while, you might need to clean your palette and start over. All right. Okay, let's now...
Is there intention behind when you're choosing how many colors that you're going to use? Do you have a recommendation there?
You know what? The sky is the limit, and you are going to get all different kinds of looks depending on the colors that you choose.
The colors and how many colors?
Yes, exactly. Let's get some of this.
This is like a warm, very warm cream.
Yes, it's a very warm cream, and we're going to warm this up a little bit. Again, I'm keeping that low angle because I'm not wanting to remove. Now, is there ever a time you would want to remove this far into the sequence of steps and coats? Sure. Let's do it. Let's try that right here and see what happens. Let's remove some of this. Oh, would you look at that? Look how forgiving this is.
And you revealed more of the white, so that just adds more interest.
Exactly.
Just another option.
Exactly. We are literally blending these colors and creating movement on the surface.
And when you are choosing your colors, really keeping in mind, I think there are a lot in color theory. People make the mistake of thinking you can't mix cool and warm colors, and that's the opposite of true. You actually get wonderful, beautiful effects when you mix in a little warmth.
The
with your
opposite
cool
of
color.
true is lie. That is a lie.
That is a lie.
We tease. But for reals, let's add in a little bit of blue.
Okay. This is our pop color.
Yeah,
that
let's
I
add a
was talking
little
about
bit of
earlier.
pop. We've got some, and actually the gray that we used is already a nice, I would say, warm side of neutral, but that in context of the very warm cream we introduced actually gives you a cooler range to that. So let's put a little bit of this.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. Let's spread that out. And this is more saturated.
I love that color.
Yes. And I'm going to kind of do a little bit of dabbing and then moving. I'm just going to do something fun here and then skim across. And pull it back and forth a few times. We're going to blend it and see what that blending does.
I like the way you're just incorporating hints of color in different places.
See, we got a chunk here.
Oh.
See, that's what the chunk does. That's not a bad thing, but something that you want to know how to control. So if you find you get a score through your surface, stop, look at and see where it is. I see right there. Got that.
The culprit.
Away with you. Off spot. From what Shakespeare is that?
You just took out the bad word of it. But
yes. Now, what
off darn spot.
Off darn spot. Yeah, exactly. What you can do, and this is cool. And here, let's put a little bit of. Let's talk about the blending.
Okay.
Let's put just some right there, okay?
Oh yeah.
And now let's blend this out, and let's look at how blurry and soft
It gets.
it gets.
You guys are going to have so much fun playing with this. I know you're tempted to go play with it right now, but just wait. We're almost done.
Yes. You can get some fun.
You get a really kind of cloudy, floaty look with these. And the beauty of this is it's not rocket science. This is just fun. You get in there and you play, get adventurous, push your limits, and learn new things.
Yes.
And you're going to get even different effects than what we're getting here.
It's so forgiving. You get on that surface, and especially when you are working on your practice surface, but really even on a project like a piece of furniture or a wall or artwork, it's so forgiving. You saw me, and I'll do it again. Let's see what happens when would you look at that?
So cheesy.
I know, it's
Will you
cheesy,
look at
right? It is, but it's just,
Yeah.
I'm showing you, it's forgiving. You can remove and lay back down. So this
Is there a danger, though, in getting mud? In blending the colors together too much if you overwork it?
well, that's going to depend on the colors you have.
Okay.
And if you dislike a mud color.
Well, right now, what I mean is you have 3 different distinct colors in this right now.
So those will
So if
definitely...
you overwork them, you'll blend them together.
If you are, exactly. So
Okay.
now, when I pick that up, you're still keeping some of the differentiation between those colors.
You are.
But if you get in, you can see.
Yeah,
you've
they're
got
starting
still,
to blend a little
it's
bit.
different.
But it's not a bad thing because, yeah, you get...
Exactly. Now,
so there's
if
quite
you
a
took
bit
that
of room there
and
before
you intentionally blended it, you're going to get another color.
Ah, gotcha.
So in this case, that color, and this is what I mean, is kind of a nice pale blue gray.
Yeah.
So exactly, that's what you're doing is you're doing controlled blending on the surface. And that's, I think, why it is so forgiving, because it's...
And honestly, I think this is one of those techniques that you, going into it, may have a certain vision, and then you're going to love it even more when you're done.
Yes.
But it'll be different.
I am loving the contrast that we had in the beginning, and I want to add a little more of that in
Okay.
with some of this.
The
coming
charcoal.
up from the bottom a little bit. Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
And now some right in here. And I'm going to, for this, because we talked about that industrial look,
Yes.
leaving a little bit of that vertical.
Yes.
And
I
that.
like that.
But I
a
want
lot.
you to get in here now
Okay.
and play.
You sure?
Yes. And play. Do you
Okay.
need more of these?
Sure. All right. I'm going to add a little bit more blue, but not too much. And I feel like I want to also add more of the warmth in, like you did with the charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. She says it's forgiving. We shall see. Okay.
Now, I noticed that you're pressing in,
Okay.
but your angle's still low, so you're not removing it, but that's going to just affect differently how that color play happens on the surface.
Okay.
So try this. Try holding it like this,
Okay.
so that it kind of forces you
To float.
and let it just float and see what you think and how that's different.
Okay.
And it's not one way's right or wrong. It's
But I
just you
see
get
what you're.
different
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
engagement.
Yeah. I like it. This is
I do
really,
too.
This is really nice.
It definitely has that modern, abstract, industrial.
Yeah.
I love it.
Although I could also see a beautiful Tuscan type finish if you used 3 different warm colors and then did kind of a crosshatch.
Yes, exactly.
So-
Getting your angles different and more
Yes.
random can give you that old world plaster look.
Right. I really like this. I feel like it's where I want it to be, so I'm going to step away and leave it like this. That means it's your turn to play.
I want you to pay attention to the things we taught in the lesson. I want you to pay attention to that thin first coat and how it behaves as a primer and a bonding ground. I want you to pay attention to controlling your thickness, using the pressure and the angle of your blade in order to manipulate the thickness that you want for that coat. I want you to pay attention to the condensing. Practice it. Even if you're not going to use it on the project or on the sample board you're on, practice it, and that is, that surface exposure. So I want you to practice that. I want you to pay attention to color movement and how you get the colors to engage differently depending on how you're moving that blade over it.
I really look forward to seeing what you guys are going to do with this.